Hey guys,
the Black
it's
Death,
Emily.
which ravaged Europe about a
Is
century
that a
later
poster? I
in
signed for a science
1348.
project.
So what could have caused this mass killing? Don Walker heads to the British Library to consult ancient historical records from the period. This manuscript is a history of England. Over 750 years old, it was written in Latin by a monk named Matthew Paris. Among these chronicles, one account stands out. A description of bitterly cold weather around London in the spring and early summer of 1258 that kills crops and livestock and leads to a deadly famine.
Says owing to the scarcity of wheat, a large number of poor people died, and dead bodies were found in all directions, swollen and livid.
Then Walker discovers a description that seems to match the discovery of the mass graves.
When several corpses were found, large and spacious holes were dug in the cemeteries, and a great many bodies were laid in them together.
And of course, as soon as I saw that, I got very excited because it's exactly the kind of thing that we found at St Mary Spital, where they were digging these huge pits.
According to this text, the famine killed over 15,000 people in London. That's 30% of the city's population at the time.
You're talking about something that was perhaps nearly as deadly as the Black Death.
And possibly as widespread too. Other sources reveal the far-reaching impact of the extreme weather and its disastrous effect on crops.
There are various records from this period, 1258, 1259, 1260, in various parts of Europe and as far as Japan, that do attest to extreme impacts in terms of famine in particular.
Something devastating was plunging much of the northern hemisphere into a pattern of bitter winters and summers blighted by torrential rain.
We thought perhaps this was something to do with some catastrophic event.
Only one type of natural disaster could have such a widespread impact on the climate. A massive volcanic eruption. But which volcano was the culprit? The closest volcanoes are 1,000 miles away in Iceland. In 2010, when a volcano known as Aya erupted, it sent an ash cloud over Europe that disrupted air travel for weeks, stranding people all over the world. And historical records reveal that in 1783, eruptions from the Laki volcano caused mass deaths across Europe. It seems like an Icelandic volcano could be to blame for the mysterious 13th century event. But Walker came across another possibility. He became intrigued by one of the most massive eruptions in recorded history. Even though it occurred just 200 years ago and was located much farther away. Mount Tambora in Indonesia. In April 1815, eyewitness accounts record that Mount Tambora erupted explosively.
And this is one of the largest eruptions of the last 10,000 years.
We're doing summers.
It's estimated over 60,000 people died in the shadow of this volcano.
We're doing the other stuff.
But the eruption had an even more far-reaching impact. In Northern Europe and North America, the year after the eruption, 1816, is known as the year without a summer.
Hold on. Okay,
In New
I
York State,
understand.
it snowed in June. In Europe, cold weather led to the worst famine for a century.
The climate change caused agricultural failures, poor harvests, pushed up grain prices, with many people perishing from malnourishment.
So perhaps another powerful eruption could have caused the year without a summer in 1258.
We began to think that perhaps this might be something to do with what happened back in the 13th century. Perhaps this was why the people starved.
You're a bad liar.
But to pinpoint the location of the mysterious volcano, they needed to know more about its size and type of
Yes,
eruption.
to pass by.
They look at one of the largest volcanic events in recent memory,
Thank you for not being able to do
the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. Unlike volcanoes that erupt by pouring out rivers of molten lava over a long period of time, Pinatubo erupted suddenly and
I
violently.
told him. Well, Antoine did.
When water and gases trapped inside the magma exploded with tremendous force, shattering the rock into millions of tiny particles and sending them high into the atmosphere. Explosive eruptions like this are the most dangerous of all.
Jacob.
Pinatubo killed 847 people locally
Okay, so what do we need?
and left over 200,000 homeless. But as with the other big Indonesian volcano, Mount
Jacob.
Tambora, this eruption also had far-reaching effects. NASA satellites were able to monitor the eruption. Pinatubo blasted out 1 cubic mile of superheated ash, but it also ejected hundreds of millions of tons of volcanic gases in a plume 22 miles high.
Ash and the gases are dispersed in the atmosphere by the wind, and they can travel thousands of kilometers, tens of thousands of kilometers.
why? Because
But unlike heavy ash that soon falls out of the atmosphere, the lightweight gases persist for much longer.
I don't even know
The
why.
most impactful gases are the sulfur-rich gases, and those gases will form little droplets of sulfuric acid in a large cloud.
The tiny drops of sulfuric acid are called aerosols, and in a large cloud, high in the upper atmosphere, these aerosols caused enough sunlight to reflect out into space to cool the planet. The satellite data revealed that this sulfuric acid mist had a much more dramatic impact than the ash. It blocked enough sunlight to cool the entire planet by 1 degree Fahrenheit for 2 years.
That doesn't sound very much, but it actually masks much stronger regional variations. And that translates into real impacts on the ground in terms of
In 1258, the temperature drop was much greater than caused by peanut.
Okay, that's just a regular sized volcano.
Very sad.
Okay, we have a couple super volcanoes, one in Indonesia, one in the United States. Does anybody know where it is?
When the guy said to me,
Yellowstone.
so then he was weird that he doesn't want to
That's where you need to put the Chromebook away. Only people that are using the Chromebook are the ones that are working on the science project. Put your Chromebook.
Oh, I thought you said. I shouldn't have told him.
Okay, put it away.
Because then we could have.
Okay, are you working on the project, Devin? Put it away.
Too bad. He'll see it.
Okay,
Then he'll see
so anyways,
it. Yeah.
we have a couple
If he sees the video, then
possibly
maybe not to like.
possible volcanoes that might erupt in California. They're not really active. They're somewhat in the middle between dormant, not active, and active. Okay? Yeah, well, we're not going to die because those volcanoes are up north in California. So 3 of the possibly active volcanoes are in Northern California, and there's smaller ones. Southern California doesn't really have any active volcanoes. Yeah. Okay, think about that. For 2 years, it changed the temperature by 1 degree.
Oh, that's a lot.
Okay? Angela.
This suggests that whatever triggered this medieval disaster could have been much bigger.
Just not really.
That indicated that a big event occurred somewhere in Europe, but there was no record of massive volcanic eruption.
Stuff. It's
The biggest mistake for us.
Bye.
So where